Good afternoon, Coasty Explorers here, and we are at the top of the peak here in Hong Kong, Victoria Peak to give it its full name. And today I thought we'd do an impromptu video where we go down two of my favourite roads here in Hong Kong, nay walking trails should we say, and find out more about, a little bit about the history of this area, and then heading down into the western suburbs of Hong Kong. Before we start, or as we start, right across here we've got the Peak Lookout Cafe. Peak Lookout Cafe, been here for many years and still a very busy tourist trap. And right next to the Peak Cafe is something I want to show you. It's an old British era colonial postbox. We've still got many here in Hong Kong, and I'm going to delve deeper into these colonial postboxes in a few weeks' time. As we go around the corner, we've got Lugard Road, which cars can still go up and down. We're not going to head down there today because we're going to go on a bit of a loop around the front with some of the most magnificent views of Hong Kong Harbour. So if we just wait for these cars to go past, they're going right to the top where the old governor's mansion was, which is a great place for a lookout. Not many people head up there. They tend to come here, come up the Peak tram and stay here. We're going to go down Lugard Road and we'll find out a little bit about the history of Lugard Road as we walk round, but it's a beautiful walking path right next to where all the tourists are, but not many people again come round this road. First of all, we have number 1 Lugard Road. Number 1 Lugard Road used to be, or still is, the offices for the Hong Kong tram, and it's where the general manager lived at one time, and it's now the start of this really interesting trail. So come with me as we walk around the front northern side of the peak. Lugard Road, or Lugard Road, is named after Sir Frederick Lugard, who was governor in Hong Kong between 1907 and 1912. This path is about 400 metres above sea level and has some amazing vistas of Victoria Harbour as you walk around. It was built between 1913 and 1921, and it now forms part of the Hong Kong Trail. And you can see in some parts it's dug into the side of the cliff, and in other parts it's actually on an elevated walkway. Although in need of renovation, we do have these wonderful information boards spread all throughout the walk as you head round. This one is telling us all about the native species of plants here in Hong Kong on the peak, but there are a broad range of information boards, so if you want to find out more about what the flora and fauna around you is all about, then get yourself down to this path. One of the reasons why this path is such a successful path that's been here for over 100 years is because the sides have been cemented to stop landslips falling down, and you can see drainage holes all throughout the cement here. Many different ways of stopping landslips here in Hong Kong, and we're going to be going through that on another video. Oh, check out this wonderful old lamppost here. Presumably would have been a gas light at one point and now electric, but wonderful things as we go around. Very lucky today actually to get such a clear day, because for the past week it's been very polluted here, and in the summer months we get a lot of rain here in Hong Kong, being close to the tropics. So up here high as a peak, quite often you can find yourself in the mist, and we've got a board here explaining all about the mist and the rain that falls here generally in the summer months. Now, at one time this peak was quite barren. If you look at the old pictures back from the 1800s and even early 1900s, the peak itself, all the mountains around here were quite barren, but now we've got such thick vegetation all over the island. which of course has encouraged a lot of animals. We've got a lot of wildlife here, and quite often at night you can see wild boar, snakes and other creepy crawlies moving around here as you walk down the path. As you walk down the path, you notice the odd house here and there. I say house, more mansion. And we've got one up here. You can't really see it, but this is Bishop Lodge, once the home of the Bishop of Victoria. We do have a cathedral here, St John's Cathedral in the city, built in the 1840s. And this house is currently on the market for 1.3 billion Hong Kong dollars, which is around 166 million US dollars. So if you want a beautiful view of the peak, just buy it. Come here. I believe it has road access now, and the only access isn't only from this path, but there is a road up to there. So check out Bishop Lodge next time you're here, and if you got the money, go ahead and buy it. About 5-6 years ago, I used to live down in mid-levels, just low down from this path, and it used to be a regular evening jog, walk up here, do a loop up to the peak and around and back down again. And it's really beautiful up here, whether you're here during the day or at night, because as we turn this corner, you'll see you do get the best view of Hong Kong. And here it is. It is stunningly magnificent. People always talk about Hong Kong being an expensive city, and it is an expensive city. If you're living and working here, it's still expensive, but it's manageable. But if you're here on holiday, some things can be quite expensive. So why not get yourself down to Lugard Road, because this is free. You got to walk up here, or you could catch the bus quite cheaply. Peak tram's a little bit more expensive, but you can, on a beautiful day like this, why wouldn't you walk up and see this absolutely phenomenal view? I've just spotted a familiar tree here on the right. This is a camphor tree, actually found all over Hong Kong. They are evergreen trees that can grow up to 20 meters in height. They have extremely high commercial value as their bark repels insects. Also really strong, so they are used in the ship making industry and for making tables, chairs, things like that. You can also extract camphor oil from the roots and branches and leaves of the camphor tree, and they help dispel colds, strengthen your heart apparently, and they kill pests. Just around the corner from the camphor tree is this wonderful tree, the Indian rubber tree. This is my favourite part of the trail. It's beautiful as it hangs over the path. Indian rubber trees, you can extract latex out the middle if you tap the tree. So things to make things like rubber bands or balloons, beach toys, can all be made from this wonderful Indian rubber tree here. Nearly at the end of Lugard Road here, and this is where actually cars can turn around. So these people who live in these houses here, one of which seems to be being renovated at the moment, a beautiful house here, 29A Lugard Road, they can actually drive all the way round through Harlett Road and join us here. But next to 29A Lugard Road is reputedly the most haunted house here in Hong Kong. It's known as Dragon Lodge, built in the 1920s. Its first owner went bankrupt. Its second owner apparently died in the building. And in the 1940s, it was said, not proven, that Japanese soldiers during World War II decapitated the heads of some Catholic nuns. So let's take a little look at Dragon Lodge. Beautiful old building. They've recently done some work here, so I'm not sure if somebody's bought it and is going to renovate it, but truly a wonderful view of Hong Kong Harbour this would have had back in the day. And as we approach the morning trail, we got a little bamboo grove here. Bamboo groves found all over Hong Kong. Not ubiquitous, but there are quite a few. And the people of Hong Kong use the bamboo for many different things and for many different reasons. Bamboo is hollow, light, easy to cut. And back in the 1800s, Hong Kongers used bamboo to carry water from streams to their homes via aqueducts. You're most likely to see it here still today in Hong Kong in the building industry, as it's used as scaffolding. And we've made it to the end of Lugard Road, and this is where it meets Harlech Road at the High West picnic area. Nice little place to hang out, lots of people here on a weekend, some people selling some things. And if you wanted to go up to High West, which is the highest part of the west side of Hong Kong, and there's a beautiful lookout up there. But we're going to head down here. This is known as the Morning Trail, and this will take us down and drop us at the top of Coatwall Road, really at the highest part of the mid-levels on the western side. Morning Trail, also known as Hatton Road. And as we hit the bottom, we'll find the old place of Hatton House, which used to be a really big colonial house here in Hong Kong. So let's head down the Morning Trail. And the Morning Trail is quite steep, so you do need a certain level of fitness to get up and down here. There are these signs every 100 meters to tell you how far that you're going. So depending on your levels of fitness, if you're okay, then get yourself up and down the Morning Trail. If not, if you want to catch the bus to the peak, you go around Lugard Road to the Harlech, to the garden there, and then you can carry on round Harlech Road, which will take you all the way back to the peak lookout, where you can get public transport back down. Only a few hundred meters down from the top, you get to this pathway here. Now, if you want to go down here, this takes you to the Pinewood Battery. We're not going to go down there today, we're going to go back there another time because there's lots to see down there. But the Pinewood Battery, first thought of in the early 1900s, when Britain was worried about France and Russia bringing their warships into the harbour. So batteries were built all over Hong Kong at the high parts, this being one of them. And the Japanese, in December 1941, within a few weeks of entering the war, bombed the Pinewood Battery and saw very little action. Of course, the Japanese took over Hong Kong December the 25th, Christmas Day 1941. Still nice to go and have a look at. There's a few old buildings there, so we'll check out Pinewood Battery another time. Parts of this are very steep. It was always hard work jogging up here. I never quite got the fitness to jog all the way. I got to about this point going back up, or going up at the start, and then I had to do a little bit of walking. But I used to, on a Tuesday and a Thursday, run up to the top as much as I could, run around, and then run back down. And certainly going down is a lot easier, and you can do it quite quickly. There's a few parts that are quite dark at night, but really fun trip. And the harbour really does look amazing at nights. And if you are here around 8 o'clock, you get the light show, and you can look out west onto the island of Lantau, where you'll see the Disneyland fireworks as well, which are very impressive and include a drone show at the moment. So another good reason to come here to Hong Kong. as we near the bottom of the morning trek, we come across something that you can see if you've got a very keen eye. You can see them all over Hong Kong, and that is these city boundary stones. This one here is the city boundary stone from 1903. Now these boundary stones marcated the city of Victoria. Now some people called this city Queenstown in the early 1840s when the British came here, but in 1843 it was renamed Victoria after Queen Victoria, who reigned from 1837 to 1901. And that's why lots of places here in Hong Kong, like Victoria Prison, Victoria Park, Victoria Peak, where we've just been, are all named after Queen Victoria. And this stone here demarcates the boundary of where the city is to sort of the southwest. There are 5 others dotted around the city, as well as many other types of boundary stones, including one that I saw recently up at the border with China in the town of Sa Tau Kok, which demarcated British Hong Kong from the Chinese mainland. So we'll see lots more of those as we travel around the city in later episodes, but we're nearly at the bottom. Now, wouldn't be a Coasty Explores episode if we didn't show a good old trusty Hong Kong public toilet, and here we go. This is the Hatton Road sitting out area and public toilet with fresh water, toilet facilities, disabled toilet facilities, got everything. Got some education posters all over to tell us how to be clean in Hong Kong, and you find them all. There's one at the top of the road that I briefly showed. So when you're out and about in Hong Kong, don't ever worry about spending a penny, because there are public toilets everywhere. They are ubiquitous, as Jason would say.
Ubiquitous.
And here we are at the end of the morning trail. Got a nice fire station here to protect all the people in mid-levels Hong Kong from fire and to rescue people. And here it is. This is where cars can drop you off. This is the top of Hatton Road, and just around the corner we've got what used to be the old Hatton House. It's now been knocked down and it's flats, but back in the day there was a very big house here, and I'm going to finish off just at the bottom at the old coach house. Let's take a look.
A beautiful, ubiquitous banyan tree.
There's the front entrance to it. This obviously an original wall, a grand looking white wall here, and then just on the road below is the coach house. Okay, we are heading down to Coatwall Road now, and just before we see that coach house, we've got the beautiful house opposite, which is the Vice Chancellor's property here of Hong Kong U, because all below me now is the old Hong Kong University campus, which is massive now and regarded as the top university here, I believe, in Hong Kong. Oh, and as we get to the coach house to finish the video, we see it's undercover. It's obviously being renovated, but we can see the old bamboo scaffolding, which is so ubiquitous here in Hong Kong. This coach house dates back to 1920s and would have held the cars for the rich people living in the 12-bedroomed mansion that sat atop. So that's all from me today. Bit of an impromptu video. Wasn't going to do this, but I thought let's do it. Let's have a little walk around Lugard Road, down the morning trail, and yeah, more videos coming up soon. The next one being the history of the Hong Kong Postal Museum. Catch you on the next one.